Thank you for joining us for another Dan Frequently Asked Questions episode. In this case, we are going to answer the question of an instructor about a student who has mitral valve prolapse. Now, mitral valve prolapse means that the mitral valve, which is between the left atrium and the left ventricle, has a prolapse. In other words, it leaks. And in certain cases, it gives a characteristic click and is called Barlow syndrome. But it's quite common and usually innocuous. In fact, a lot of people are walking around with mild forms of mitral valve prolapse that are completely asymptomatic. So the fact that this individual knows that they have mitral valve prolapse poses the question as to how and why was it discovered. Was it a coincidental finding during an aviation or diving medical, or was it because they actually developed palpitations of the heart, which can also be associated with a mitral valve prolapse, and that ultimately led to them getting worked out? If that's the case, then the palpitations and the unstable cardiac rhythm would be a bigger issue than the mitral prolapse as such. Either way, I would recommend that this individual see a diving physician and, of course, ideally a cardiologist so that they can grade the level of mitral valve prolapse. If necessary, give some antithrombotic medication which is acceptable for diving, such as Xarelto or Hafodisprin, which would be acceptable. And as long as there isn't a risk of losing consciousness, which is the big deal, then the individual is most likely going to be able to dive. But it is not something for which we can give a blanket recommendation. Thank you very much for asking the question and for joining us for Dan Frequently Asked Questions.